Welcome to Scrum Masters Elite _UK. Click sign up to explore insightful stories about rugby.
Over a period not too long, yet long enough to bring about a noticeable change, I realized that I was beginning to feel tired. Not because of rugby, the sport I have always loved, but because of how people around me talked about it, especially when the name New Zealand Warriors came up repeatedly in everyday conversations. I don't hate the Warriors. That much needs to be clear. But it's undeniable that there is some distance between me and this team, a distance that's hard to define. Yet enough to make me feel disconnected from the wave of enthusiasm spreading around. When people ask each other, "Did you watch the game?" the question seems to implicitly mean the Warriors, rather than the All Blacks or other familiar names like the Hurricanes. For me, that's a sign of a shift in the fans' mindset. This change didn't happen suddenly. It has been accumulating over several years, around 4 or 5 years, when people who were once staunchly loyal to the national team began to feel disappointed.
They no longer found in the All Blacks what they once took pride in: stability, humility, and the image of a united nation. Instead, they found a new, vibrant, and more approachable energy in the Warriors. Cheers like up the Wars were not just rallying slogans, they symbolized a transfer of trust. I don't think I'm the only one who has noticed this. People within New Zealand rugby surely feel it too. And it is reflected, in part, in the statements of Neil Barnes, the new assistant coach of the All Blacks. When he speaks of the country needing consensus, needing a common goal, I don't hear empty rhetoric. On the contrary, it's a pragmatic acknowledgement: the bond between the national team and its fans is stretching. I have great respect for Barnes, as well as for Dave Rennie, who is expected to lead the All Blacks in this new era. Not because they are the most brilliant strategists, but because they bring something that New Zealand rugby has been missing: sincerity. They don't try to craft a glamorous image. They don't say things just to please the crowd.
They are simply ordinary people who understand the value of hard work, responsibility, and putting the team above the individual, and perhaps it is precisely these simple qualities that can begin to heal the gap. Looking back at the All Blacks' journey, one cannot ignore that the team has gone through significant upheavals. Key players have left, performances have been inconsistent, and at times behaviors have made fans feel alienated. When players began to be seen as stars rather than as representatives of the national spirit, the natural connection between them and the fans weakened. Meanwhile, the Warriors, though not always victorious, offer a sense of closeness. They feel like a human team, with highs and lows, with imperfect yet genuine efforts. And sometimes, it's precisely that imperfection that makes them relatable. This raises an important question: what do fans truly want? Absolute victory, or a sense of representation? Perhaps the answer lies in balance. People want to be proud when the national team wins, but they also want to see themselves reflected in how the team plays, in how they behave, and in the values they embody.
When a team loses its ability to reflect those values, no matter how strong it is, it can still lose the hearts of its fans. Barnes and Rennie seem to understand this well. When they speak of caring, it's not an abstract concept. It's a commitment that they are not just building a strong team, but a meaningful one. A team that people can trust, take pride in, and stand by, even when things don't go smoothly. I realize that the shift in how fans perceive rugby is not necessarily negative. It is simply a natural response to what they feel. And if the All Blacks want to reclaim their position, they cannot rely on the past. They must listen, adapt, and prove that they deserve the trust of a nation. For my part, I have also learned an important lesson: that love for a team, or anything, should not be blind loyalty. It must be nurtured by connection, trust, and the sense of being part of the story. When those elements are missing, feeling distant is perfectly natural, yet at the same time, I recognize that turning away is not the only solution.
Sometimes, what is needed is patience, to wait, to observe, and to give those who are striving to change a chance to prove themselves. For me, this is a journey of reflection, looking back at how I feel, how I judge, and how I connect with what once felt familiar. I'm not sure I will become a Warriors fan, nor am I sure I will recover the same feelings for the All Blacks as before. But I know I will continue to watch, with a more open perspective, and with hope that New Zealand rugby can regain its natural balance. Because, in the end, what we seek is not just victory. It is a sense of belonging. Go on, All Blacks.
Thank you for journeying with Scrum Masters Elite _UK. Stay connected and open-hearted to all changes.